What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host that finished The Sopranos. What the hell is that ending, man? I know what happened, I get it, but what the hell? Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledPeople. Alright, this story's called Mom Wanted to Give My Sister My House, and Sister Says I Stole Her Dream. When my husband and I decided to move, we wanted to live on our own spot of land instead of the cookie-cutter community and no HOA. The house was still mortgaged. It was a 2-story, 5-bedroom, and 3.5-bath house, and was less than a year old. My husband and I, at the time, had no kids, only 2 dogs, and while we loved the house, the taxes and HOA fees and maintenance were really annoying to us and overly priced, and we wanted a little more privacy too, because our neighbors were literally 2 feet away from our own home. We were at a small family gathering with my parents and siblings discussing our options about where we wanted to move to and if we wanted to build or buy a temporary mobile home to save up for our true dream house. I noticed my sister pull my mother aside and were whispering about something, but I ignored it as my dad was telling us about some great opportunities in some nice country-like areas, which was what we were hoping for. I always wanted to raise sheep and chickens and needed an area that allowed that. Later that night, my mom and sister asked if they could speak to me privately, which was never a good sign, but I sighed and we went into my mom's bedroom and closed the door like they were getting ready to punish me or something, which made me anxious. The good guy.
Listen, honey, me and Allie have been talking, and we were thinking it would be a really good idea if you sold your house to Allie. Annie, I don't remember the name I used. She has 3 kids, and the house she lives in now is so small. This would be a major help to her and her family.
My mom was using a tone like someone would use for a 5-year-old. I was 33 at the time. That's not a problem. She just needs to go through the proper channels like everyone else. I can get you in contact with our realtors easily and you can take it from there. Thinking she wanted to buy the house legit.
No, you don't understand.
My sister whined as she looked at my mom all teary-eyed. She would do this so my mom would take pity on her, and apparently they had discussed this before coming to me.
Honey, your sister's credit isn't too good, so she would never qualify for such a big loan to buy your house. So, we were thinking that maybe you could transfer the house into her and her husband's name, but you'll keep paying the mortgage, and your sister will pay you under the table what is owed. That way, she can get the house, and you won't be losing any money over it, since she'll be paying you back after all.
Still talking to me all sweet-like. What? Are you kidding me? So, you have any idea what the mortgage is? It's $2,500 a month. Allie and you and your husband barely make $25,000 a year. That's when he actually has a job, so you don't work at all. Not to mention the $1,500 land taxes and the $800 HOA fees. I understand you want a better place, but I know for a fact there would be a month you would fall on hard times, like you always do, and not be able to pay for that month, and I can't afford to keep you there if you don't pay, which we both know will eventually happen. You need to buy this house legit or not at all. I'm not making any kind of deals because we need to sell our house to buy our new place anyway. I was about to leave, but my sister bursted into tears at this.
Mommy, me and husband will work really hard to pay you every month, I swear. We need this place because we would never be able to get a place like this on our own. This is our only chance.
She began to cry into my mother's chest at this.
You need to stop being so selfish. You and your husband are in the living room bragging about building a house and getting your own land and everything, knowing your your sister's having so many financial difficulties and raising 3 children?
My mom yelled at me. Exactly my point. She is always struggling financially. How can she afford $2,500 a month on mortgage alone? I would eventually end up just paying her mortgage all the time because her husband changes jobs like I change underwear, and I simply can't afford it. And since the house would be in her name, then I would have no way to kick her out. Eventually, I would have to stop paying and the bank would repossess the house, and I would be left with nothing financially, which we need to fund getting a new place, not to mention damaging my credit score, which I worked very hard to make it good. Harsh, yes, but the truth often is.
I can't believe you are doing this just to spite me. You are stealing my dream and not even giving me something in return.
She began to whine even more. What are you talking about? Stealing your dream? I was really confused.
I was always the one who wanted to buy my own little spot of land and build a little house. You were talking about raising chickens and planting a garden. Those were my dreams and you are stealing them, you selfish
Almost God, I wanted to. Oh, wow! Imagine that. I want to be a homeowner. You are the only one in the world who wanted that. I guess Mom stole your dream too, right? She owns land and a house and gardens all the time. And oh my God, B's sister does too. And she raises chickens. We all stole your dream. I was being overly sarcastic because it was so ridiculous.
That's different. They are older than me, but you're younger. You shouldn't upstage your older sister like this just because you and your husband make more money than us. It's not fair.
She was still crying and making a huge scene, but I was done with this at this point. The answer is no. You want the house, you buy it legit, not under the table, and certainly not me footing the bill and losing a ton of cash that I know inevitably will happen. And I'm not stealing anything from you. If I want a little plot of land and to grow a garden and raise chickens, that's my choice. You have nothing to do with how I live my life. If this is such a reasonable request, Mom, then why don't you buy her a house legit, put it in her name, and just let her pay you under the table too, instead of asking your daughter to take care of her sister. Allie is your child, not mine, and I will not spend our hard-earned money supporting her and her family. Allie was throwing a huge fit after that, crying and begging my mom to make me do this, like we were still little kids or something. It was a pretty sad sight to see her throwing a tantrum like a 2-year-old. Yeah, she's the golden child. Really? I told my husband we needed to leave, and we spent the drive home with me telling him what my mom and sister were trying to pull over on us. He responded, "Even if you did agree, does she really think that I would go for it? I like your family and all, but damn, your sister's something else altogether. Stealing your dream. What was that all about?" He asked as we laughed about it a little. We have our own land now and are living in a double-wide trailer that we love. 5 bedrooms and 3 full baths, and thankfully no stairs, no HOA, much cheaper mortgage and taxes, and wonderful privacy. I could walk around naked with all the windows open and no one would ever see me. Not that I do, but I could if I wanted to. Haha. My sister has moved twice within the last 2 years and is always renting because their credit is terrible and they can't get a loan to buy any house. I just heard from my mother that they have been sending them money almost monthly for groceries because they can barely afford to buy food. Yeah, and you think she could have afforded that mortgage? I don't regret my decision one bit, and I love my little vegetable garden that I make homemade soup with often. Wow. Okay, so that's some crazy stuff going on there with your mom and your sister being crazy and whatnot. Good for you for standing up for yourself 100%, because I realize it can be hard sometimes. But honestly, in this case, they were just being so dramatically ridiculous that it couldn't have been too hard. This story is called Come Again? Say what now? So this happened before the pandemic came in. By the way, I hope everyone is doing okay. So me and a friend went to the mall for a little bit of a girls' day out. We had already went to the movies, so the mall, nail salon, and dinner was next on our list. We had been working so hard. We needed that girls' day. So while at the mall, we had to have been there for about 2 hours. I had gotten a little tired from all the walking and carrying our bags back to the car before we decided to go to one more store. Now, before we actually went to the store, my friend saw this other store and asked if I wanted to go. I told her to go without me, and when she came out, we'll go on to the other store so we can leave. Fair enough. She goes inside and there's this little sitting area. I go take a seat and wait. Maybe 3 minutes go by and I hear this baby crying. Nothing too out of the ordinary. I hear that all the time. The sound gets closer. I look up and it's this mother trying hard to get her sweet baby boy to calm down. Y'all, when I say this was the cutest little boy I have ever seen, he looked like he was about 4 to 5 months old. And poor baby looked tired. She was trying hard and he just wouldn't calm down. I got up and asked her if she would like my seat so she could calm little man down, and she thanks me and tries to calm him down. Poor baby must have been exhausted. He's still crying and hollering. Then this lady close by hears him and she looks aggravated. Looks like she's with a group of people because she turns to them and tells them,
That's why I can't have children. They're absolutely too much trouble and they mess up your body. And people who don't know how to handle them shouldn't have them.
First, this ain't have nothing to do with her, so the fact that she made that comment was not only irrelevant, but rude. Second, she must have forgotten her mammy and poppy screwed and got her waterbed built ass what? And got her waterbed built ass and had to deal with her whining. So before I said anything to her, I asked the mother if she would like me to help her calm him down. I love babies and hope to be a mommy one day, and she looked like she was still going through postpartum because she looked like she was ready to cry. Don't blame her. So she agreed and I scooped up baby boy and I bounced and played and rocked until he just laughed and giggled and went right on to sleep. He went right to sleep in my chest and I fell in love. Instant baby fever, y'all. Those fat jaws gave me life. So I gave him back to the mom and she thanks me. I said calmly without waking him, "Don't thank me yet. Stay tuned, Mama Bear." I go over to the lady and her little group of 3 people and tell her in a calm, polite manner, also without trying to wake the baby. "Ma'am, no, I'm sorry." "Woman!" Don't you ever in your life disrespect a mother like that ever again. You must have forgotten that somebody decided to put their Richard in your mama's tired, shrinkled, dried out coochie and you came into existence. Sitting here, looking like the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the damn Cowardly Lion all in one. Woman, you amaze me with this talent. With yo, "I do believe in spooks" looking ass, you saying you won't have kids because they're trouble, when in reality, don't no man even wanna screw you. Humble yourself, ho. Now have a nice day, and remember, if you can say something nice, don't say anything, because next time, the next person might dot you in yo poop. Another way is saying punch in her mouth. I walk off, check on Mama Bear, the baby, and ask her if she would like to come with me to the store I was gonna go to. When she agrees, I text my friend to meet me there and we walk off. Upon walking off, we hear one of her friends say,
Well, she has a point. You know, I have a child and that was offensive to me.
We finally get to the store and the mom thanks me and hugs me for standing up for her. I assured her that no one, and I mean absolutely no one, should be a bully. If you are a bully and you bully an adult, then you clearly don't have a life. We look out the little entrance of the store and her little circle of friends was walking by without her. Can you say 2 wins in one day? Plus me and the mom are friends now, and the baby boy just turned 1 and he's walking. Yep, feels good to be nice. Okay, that's a really cute story, because I can imagine that a problem with a lot of new moms is they kind of feel a little lonely because, you know, when you're a new mom, you're like really freaking busy with your kid, and maybe not everyone has, you know, a schedule or something that aligns with your availability. And so having a friend that can help you with your kid even must be nice, and something that a lot of people are lacking probably. So OP, you're a good person, and marry me. This story's called My Dad's Sisters Try to Marry Him with Someone to Keep All of His Money. English is not my first language, so I'm sorry if I make some mistakes. So this happened years ago. I was just a baby when this happened, but my mom told me about it. We're gonna need a little bit of background. My mom and my dad decided to have me. Then after a few months, something happened and my mom went to a different city, leaving my dad. During that time, my dad met a woman that had a kid. They started having a relationship, and after a while, she started asking about marriage. My dad always said no. She also kept asking for my dad to give her kid his last name so the kid could be his. He also said no to this. But fell off. My mom didn't tell me how, but he somehow noticed that his sisters made everything up. They always have been very rude, lazy, and annoying. My dad did all he could to be a great doctor on his own, without anyone's help, not even his sisters. So the best thing they thought they could do was to take my dad's money. After a lawsuit, a lot of money, and a lot of stress, and a year later, my dad kind of got them to leave him alone. My mom and my dad got back together and everything seemed to be okay. Until a few years later, my dad got really sick and was in the hospital. My mom was by his side all the time and they didn't expect anything to happen. One day, my dad's sister showed up to the hospital and started a really big argument. They were calling my mom mean woman and demanding my dad to give them all his money because they were his sisters and they always supported him, and saying that family should help family and all that stuff. At the end, police got called. Sadly, my dad died shortly after. They didn't even get a penny. They have followed us around a few times when they see us in the street, but nothing else. Hey, sorry for your loss, and your dad's sisters were very nice people apparently. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.